and I can see my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for me. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes
Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is your League One Matchday 17 predictions live show, yes, and a bit of a recap for Matchday 16. And I'm going to go on a little bit in depth about these matches that have happened for Matchday 16. Obviously not everyone played in that, but obviously there was 5 games on, so I hope you're all doing well in the chat though this evening. The international break is finally over, guys, for many of us now. Obviously, the others that played last week doesn't apply, but for most of us, we're back and we're ready for some more action this weekend and get back to business with the predictions for the full round of fixtures this weekend, starting tomorrow evening. But first, make sure you are smashing that like button for me. It would really mean a lot to me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and let me know your thoughts down below in the chat of anything you want to discuss, and also put your predictions in as we go along as well, and any thoughts you want to say about the matches that I'm going to cover from last week's fixtures. And also, if you're watching it on playback as well, I know everyone can't always catch it on playback on live. If you're watching it on playback, do get your predictions in, and even if you watched it live, even if you want to put your full predictions in as well for this weekend's fixtures, that'd be great as well, because it's, you know what I mean, because then we can kind of see who's going to get each one right, kind of thing. But 5 fixtures did take place last weekend, so we're going to recap those first, as I said. You know what I mean, go into a bit more detail, get some more information up on the screen, and kind of go through the games, how they happened, for the first part of the show, and then I'm going to do the predictions after that. Hopefully it doesn't take too long to get through these 5 fixtures, because I do like to go into a bit more detail. But anyway, I'm waffling, and then we're going to have a look at the table before we go into Matchday 17 predictions, which is obviously the main part of the show. But big up to everyone that is in here right now. Charlie's in the bonus. This evening, Ryan. Evening to you. How are you doing, mate? Good to see you. And thank you for engaging with me. So yes, without further ado, we're going to get straight into the recap of these of the games last weekend. So we're going to start with the Burton game. Obviously, Burton winning 1-0 against Blackpool, a very valuable win for the Brewers. Actually, following up the win they got the previous week as well, so they've gone back-to-back wins following their 2-1 win at Bradford away. As Jake Beasley's 65th minute, fifth league goal of the season as well, from a set piece. Fantastic delivery in by John McKieran. He did prove to be the winner in this tightly contested match. And visitors to Blackpool, who obviously had won back-to-back games in the league prior to this, found themselves on the receiving end of a 1-0 defeat. But I mean, if we go into just zoom out, guys, for you guys here. Let me just kind of get my bearings with this. But so yes, obviously, as you can see, Blackpool did have more of the ball, but only managed 3 shots on target, which were big chances from 11 in total. Nowhere near clinical enough, really, for Blackpool, is it really? To be honest with you, which is kind of the story of their season in a way. So they conceded a lot of goals as well, Blackpool as well. But Burton won the game with their only shot on target. They had 1 shot on target all match, which was the goal. And look, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you win games. Sometimes you just have to win ugly. And I think Burton, again, just doing just that, really. And a bit of fortune with Blackpool's lack of clinical edge. But obviously, Burton having 8 shots in total as well in this match. Again, you could say that both sides were relatively poor in conversion rate from these kind of shots, overall shots on target. But it doesn't matter really, does it? Like I said, because they did win the game, to be honest with you. And if we just kind of going a little bit deeper here with obviously the lineups and everything as well. I'm just checking you guys can see. Well, yeah, I think you can pretty much see the screen. I mean, I could actually potentially make. No, I don't want to do that because then it kind of ruins. No, I don't want to do that. Let's just keep it like that. So yes, as I was saying, obviously, if you look at these kind of performances, why obviously the Burton goalkeeper obviously got man of the match, a rating of 8.6, made numerous key saves in this match, to be honest with you, and kept them in it as well. And I think obviously if you look at their back line as well, I mean, their back line pretty much did a solid job all afternoon, really, didn't they? Then you've kind of zoom out a little bit here. Midfield, obviously they've got the 5 midfield as well, and Beasley, of course, the goal scorer, so 7.4 as well. 5 goals this season. So, look, I think he's a really, to be honest with you, he's a good striker, is Beasley. In a struggling Burton side at times, he still will score goals for you if you provide for him. That's how I see it. But obviously for Blackpool, obviously their highest rating player was this guy, Zach Ashworth, who obviously on the left wing there, winning lots of duels in the match, the most of any player actually in this one, 15. But he was also causing a lot of problems as well down that wing. And as you can see, really the defence for Blackpool, okay. I mean, obviously, this guy obviously kind of let him down a little bit with going below the 7. But yeah, so that's kind of it for that one, really. So yeah, Burton picking up a valuable win, and they certainly deserved. Well, I don't know if you could say deserve it, really. I mean, if you look at the stats, really, like I said, I don't like going too much into the stats kind of thing, but both at the end of the day, Burton took one of their chances, and they deserved to win the game. But Blackpool had many chances, but they weren't able to convert. So yeah, the goalkeeper, like I said, for Burton, Bradley Collins was brilliant. So fair play to them. And Blackpool struggling down in the relegation zone still. Of course, next up, we have obviously got Leyton Orient versus Exeter, which obviously finished 2-1. Orient came from behind to score 2 late goals in 5 minutes in the final 15 minutes of the match, with goals from El Mazouni and Bakinson within obviously 5 minutes, like I said, to claim all 3 points and get back to winning ways after Exeter went ahead from the penalty spot in the 38th minute, courtesy of Wareham, who dispatched the penalty. And I think for Orient, it is a big confidence booster for them to get this result in the manner they did, especially after obviously getting hammered 4-1 at Wickham the week before. Now, if we kind of go into the stats a little bit here now and kind of look at this in a bit more detail, as you can see, Orient obviously dominated the ball, which doesn't mean anything. You have to do it's what you do with it, and they did have the most shots as well in the match. They were dominant, but as the stats show, like I said, 12 shots overall, with 3 of those shots on target. Actually, 2 of those were the goals. So prior to them scoring, they'd only managed 1 shot on target. So again, quite wasteful from their perspective. But at the end of the day, again, you know what I mean, they managed to convert 2 out of those 3 shots on targets. I suppose it is a good conversion rate if you look at that. But I mean, overall shots, it's kind of quite poor to not test the keeper as much as well. But Exeter obviously were feeding off scraps in this game, so really. And despite they nearly did see out the victory, of course, but they just seemed to run out of steam, unfortunately, in the end. And they once they conceded 1, they seemed to fall to pieces in that moment. But yeah, I think it would have been a massive steal for them if they have won the game. Because if you look at that, like I said, there were 6 shots they had only throughout the whole game, 2 on target. 1 of those were the goals, of course. So yeah, they weren't really doing much in the game. Now, also the standout players for me in this one, let's just go to the lineups and have a look here, because obviously, as we've already mentioned his name, El Mazouni was certainly the man of the match in this one. He was brilliant, to be honest. I mean, he was doing a really solid job in that midfield, as he always he's obviously whenever Orient play, El Mazouni is always one of the names that you need to be looking out for. Really good in the middle of the park, and like I said, got 1 of the goals to help them towards victory. And obviously, he's got 4 for the season now as well. But I just think you're always going to get a good performance out of this guy. Really, really talented. The defense, if you look at the defense as well for Orient as well, they did quite well, didn't they? Obviously, I mean, all over 7. This guy an 8, and as you can see here, he's completed the most passes in the match as well, 72. So he had a fantastic afternoon as well. If we have a look at the Exeter kind of perspective, their best player in the match was this guy, Reece Cole. He did hit the woodwork one time in 2 total shots that he had throughout the game. And like I said, he was obviously caused a few issues throughout. But if you look at this, I mean, to be fair, Clare had a poor game and he was took off, but obviously El Mazzuni obviously kind of covered for that 6.3 that he got. But if you look at their midfield here, Exeter, they really struggled in that midfield, didn't they? These, Macmillan, Niskanen on the right couldn't create anything. Andrew, these two in the middle, especially, certainly struggling. And Whitworth, who we know how good he is in goal, he obviously had a very below par game for his standards because, like I said, he's a very talented kid, obviously on loan from Crystal Palace for his second season with them, actually. So, yeah, big up to Whitworth, though, because he's a class keeper, just had one of those off days. But, so, yeah, I think that's all that really needs to be said about this game. Moving swiftly on to Lincoln's game versus Doncaster, which has finished 2-1 to Lincoln. This was another really tightly contested game, wasn't it? But obviously, the host Lincoln managed to come out on top with a slice of luck, I must say. No doubt about that in my mind. But yeah, Lincoln did take the lead in the 31st minute. The goal coming from Francis Okoronkwo. I knew I would say this wrong. Okoronkwo. I don't know. Anyway, that guy scored, obviously, with his head in the penalty area. Couldn't miss. Now into the second half, Donny equalised in the 70th minute, courtesy of substitute Brandon Hanlon, making an impact, which is what you want your subs to do, of course. Before Lincoln went ahead after an own goal, immediately after, literally straight after, they went up the other end and they scored an own goal. And look, Doncaster have to be very, very disappointed with that, because when you score and then you concede straight after, you just completely undone what you've done effectively. Now, if we look at the stats in a bit more detail, obviously Doncaster actually had more of the ball in this match. If you look at this, but only just very, very close, just edging it. Lincoln had 7 shots in this match, registering just 3 on target. Obviously, obviously, 2 of those were the goals. And if you look at this, Doncaster had a lot of opportunities themselves. They had 15 shots in total, but they had 5 on target, and they only converted 1 of them. Now, that's kind of a few kind of outlooks of the match there. Let's move on to the lineups and let's have a look at who performed well as well in this game. So here we are. Lincoln, as you can see, the guy that I can't say. How do you say his name? I'm going to call him Francis. He got the man of the match and had a couple of other opportunities. Was constantly a threat down that left-hand side, and had plenty of touches in the match as well. Obviously came off with over 20 minutes left after running out of steam a little bit. But if you look at their kind of overall scope here of, look, again, the defence is always a solid point. I know, obviously, I was already alluding to the fact that Doncaster had 15 shots, but they still limited them to half chances rather than big chances. So they were making it very difficult. A lot of these kind of ratings suggest that Derrickwa, I think, is a brilliant player on that right. Likes to get up and down this wing, but also very, very solid defensively. Obviously, you've got the likes of Hamer and Sonny Bradley as well, who's very experienced at 34 years of age, doing a solid job still in that defence. But yeah, Francis Okoronkwo. Oh my God. Obviously the standout for them. Now, if you look at Doncaster, look, we know who's always going to be the best player for them. Only Joe's mine, but look, Luke Molyneux, this guy is so good, isn't he? Absolutely brilliant footballer. And you're always going to get a solid 7 out of him at least. And that's one of his worst games. You know what I mean? Usually his levels are over that kind of point and up towards the 8-9 mark. But yeah, like I said, completed the most dribbles in the match. 4. And again, because players know how good he is, he was the most foul player in the match as well. Reardon at the back as well for them was doing some good stuff. Good passing, and you know what I mean? 95% passing. And yeah, most passes 62 in the match. So yeah, again, he was good. The Gain, very much struggling, you know, Billy Sharp, you know, obviously at the latter end of his career now. And then you've got your likes of your creativity that aren't really doing much either. Clifton, your wingers, just not really producing what you need. But overall, I think the result was. I think Doncaster probably will find themselves hard done by, especially the manner of how they performed, how the game panned out. Sorry, but that's unfortunately what happens when you know what I mean, when you switch off instantly after you've scored as well. You got yourself back in the game, and then you go and concede, and it was no own goal as well. So, but yeah, that's that one. So next up, we've got 2 0-0 draws. First one, obviously Luton, which was obviously an interesting game. It was actually a very good 0-0. This because I watched the game because obviously it was on the TV, and they were held. Luton were held to a goal draw against a very resilient Rotherham United side. By the way, their defence, brilliant organisation. You know what I mean? Sitting in that low block and playing on the counter attack is what Rotherham have been proven to be effective at. And yes, they didn't score. They very much struggled to get shots. They couldn't even get into it. Obviously, they didn't have many shots at all in this match, which we're going to get into. But Luton obviously was at home. And like I said, Rotherham were very much playing on the counter-attack, like I said, and very effectively. Hugo had an early chance, which was their only shot on target, I believe. But yeah, Luton had a chance who obviously didn't get it on target. I think it was a relatively quiet first half in this match. Luton were definitely more on the front foot, and obviously they had a home side. In the second half, the final 25 minutes, they were really putting on the pressure, a lot of pressure, and that's where most of their chances arrived in, the final quarter of the match. But Rotherham stayed firm to claim a point and continue their very good form at the moment. They really have shot up that table, accumulating a lot of points. And we're also obviously forgetting here as well that obviously Rotherham did have a few injuries in this, throughout this match. Not to mention their strikers, who Hugo had to go off injured. He was then replaced by Ayres, and then Ayres had to come off. So they really have got a striker crisis going on at Rotherham at the moment. But if you look at the stats for the game, just to kind of cover it, Luton dominated the ball as expected, 69% to Doncaster's 31%. Luton registered 12 shots, had 3 on target. Rotherham had just the 2 shots and 1 on target, which was, like I say, it was that chance by Hugill, which was that was the first chance of the match. That was the one I just mentioned earlier on. But yeah, no real so-called big chances created by either side. If you look at it, really, there were no real big chances for either side, despite obviously Luton having a lot more shots and stuff. But they weren't big chances that they had, because they weren't able to get in behind and make an easy chance for themselves, because Rotherham was so organised and kept their shape throughout, never wilted. Although towards the end, it felt like they were hanging on pretty much, but they stood firm. So let's have a look at the lineup and some key players in this match. So Cameron Dawson was the man of the match for Rotherham. Very good performance by the keeper, making 3 saves, which were crucial in Rotherham's attempt to get something from this match. And yeah, look, I think fair play to him. And yeah, he seems to be quite a reliable presence there. Just looking further afield, James at the back, Reece James, full of experience, did fairly well. And then this guy as well, Cian Spence, who won the most duels in the match, 12 in total. Then for Luton, who was their best player? Their best player was Jones on the at right back, and Anderson, who I'm a big fan of. Anderson, I think he's a top player. In fact, I wanted him, actually, to be fair. I wanted him at Town, to be honest with you. Again, he completed the most passes in the match. A few facts here. And he was the most accurate passer as well. So, yeah, look, he's very good at the back and always gives you a solid performance. And look at Mengi as well. Mengi, in fact, all these 3 players did well, didn't they? Mengi, again, another good performance from him as well. So, yeah. Big up to them. I think Luton at the back is solid. I think it's just further forward they sometimes struggle. They struggle a lot going forward. But look, defensive shape and very organised by the visitors, Rotherham, and they got a point which they'll be delighted for as well. They're happy. Good day for them. I think they would have taken that before the match. But these 2 sides were both are both 2 of the most informed teams in League One at the moment. So yeah, it was a good game to say it was 0-0. And then finally the match, before we get into our predictions, Port Vale 0, Wickham 0. That was the host. Vale got a point with a match full of missed chances by both sides, by the way. The first half, the home side had plenty of chances but failed to register a shot on target. So again, not testing the keeper. Wickham looked the most dangerous, despite only having 5 shots overall, 3 on target. Second half, Vale did test the keeper a few times, but the visitors had even more chances, but they were less clinical. So if we look at the stats, I suppose these are just the top stats here. I think we can just go off this. 66% for Wickham, 34% for Port Vale. Port Vale never really have much of the ball anyway. That's nothing new, is it? They don't mind about that. They allow the other team to have the ball. They don't mind playing like that. But yeah, look, Wickham dominating, as you can expect from a Michael Duff side. 15 shots they had, Port Vale, and only one big chance created. 18 shots for Wickham, 5 big chance created. So I don't really like that big chance created because that's very much kind of depends what you class as a big chance. I mean, look, what I was looking for was the shots on target, 2 on target the whole match for Port Vale out of 15, and 3 on target out of 18 for Wickham there. Now, if we go into the lineups and see who played well in this match to finish the recap section of this show, Port Vale goalkeeper Joe Gauci was fantastic, wasn't he? You know, he made 3 crucial saves along with all the qualities that he showed in this match. Very, very I think he's a very commanding goalkeeper, very confident. And why it's not letting me move down. And yeah, like I said, had a busy afternoon, but he did make those 3 crucial saves that kept them in the match. So yeah, again, another goalkeeping masterclass on one of these matches last week, which, yeah, it was obviously impressive by him. And look at the defense as well. You know, obviously this guy especially, Ben Hennigan, 8 rating, very much dominant at the back, organising the defence and keeping them in check. Why that happened there. But yeah, defence, few solid performance. This guy in the middle here, Ben Garrity, won the most duels, 15 in the match as well. So yeah, he was doing his work in the middle there for them. And then just to finish on, obviously, their best player, Wickham, was Onyedinma, who, again, I am a big fan of his. You know what I mean? I really like him as a player. You know what I mean? He's direct. He obviously had a couple of chances in this match, a couple of shots and chances created. And as you can see, he completed the most dribbles in the match, 4 in total. And obviously, as I said, the chance he had hit the woodwork on one of those chances he had. So it was causing problems throughout, but just couldn't quite finish off one of those when he got in those areas. But look, always a threat, always a key player for them, no doubt about it. At the back, you've got your likes of Dan Casey at centre half. Again, very, very good at the back there. The highest rated defender at the back for this game. So yeah, and the goalkeeper was doing his work as well, as you can see, but obviously, so yeah. Matt Harvey, I do like him down this side. Very, very good player. Lee Hayes, he's always he had a bit of a quieter game than usual, obviously 7.3, but usually sometimes giving you an 8+. But yeah, he did well in this game as well. But the strikers, to be honest, he really struggled. Obviously brought Lowry off in the 58th minute as well. For Port Vale, obviously, Patton got a 7. He created the most chances in the match, and he was also the most accurate passer as well. And Devante Cole, who again is obviously was quite ineffective in this match. Obviously, least touches 32 of any outfield player to play 90 minutes, so he struggled to get in this game. But yeah, so that is the recap for this section of the recap. So let's have a look at the table just to kind of finish. In fact, I've already got the table up. Big. Sorry, I'm still waffling. Sorry about this, Aidan. I'm hopefully you're still here with us. I've been waffling on, just going about my business, explaining my thoughts and everything. But yeah, he says hello, mate. Sorry I'm late. Hope you're good. Big up to you, Aidan. A proper real one, you Aidan. I really appreciate you, man. Like, you're always here, no matter what. You're always showing your support as well. Proper real one. Always stuck by me from the very start. So yeah, thank you for that, mate. And yeah, if you are new, if you are just joining, make sure you smash the likes and subscribe if you're new. Big up to you, and thank you as always. Now, just to conclude, I actually need to switch the share of the screen here. Replace. Right, let me just have a look here. So we've got the. But yeah, we're going to get into the predictions very, very shortly. I'm just, so yeah, get ready for that. Presuming, yeah, this is the one I'm after. So yeah, let's look at the table going to match day 17. Obviously, I know quite a few teams haven't played 17, but it is week 17 of the season. So we have to just put it like that, to be honest with you. So if we look at this then, we have got Stockport and Lincoln locked horns at the top on 28 points each. They're on the same goal difference as well. So it's gone down to something else as to why Stockport are ahead. I can't remember what goes after goal difference, if it's all level on both of these. Maybe somebody can tell me in the chat, but yeah. But anyway, Stockport are at the top, but Lincoln are joint top. I call it joint top, to be honest with you. Bradford have really slumped off recently. Hopefully they keep sliding down that table to stop the pure delusion from their fan base who think they have the entitlement to get another promotion on their books just because they've just got promoted. Now they're in League One, they think they're big again, to be honest with you. So, yes, they need coming down a peg or two. Bolton in fourth, 26 points. So they've really upped their game recently as well. We're going to get into the form. Look at this, four out of the last 5 games they've won. So they're in really in good form. He's on the bounce as well. Cardiff have dropped off quite a few. They've lost they've lost 3 out of their 5 games. So they're in 5th, 26 points. But still, it's very tight, isn't it? If you look, Stevenage cover the final playoff place 6-26. Again, Stevenage have dropped off since their start to the season, which I kind of expected, to be honest with you. No disrespect to Stevenage fans or Stevenage people out there, but I just felt like they were riding the crest of the wave, and I felt like it was going to. I didn't think they could continue it. That was just my inner feeling, really. But they're still up there, so fair play. Wimbledon in 7th, Luton 8th, Mansfield 9th, and we are in 10th, 22 points. But obviously, we have got numerous games in hand. But so of Stevenage, who are in 6th. But yeah, so that's where we are. Rotherham, look at Rotherham, 11th. Anyway, we're not going to go through all the table. As you can see, Rotherham there. Burton have really climbed up as well. Few teams there mid-table. In the relegation zone at the moment, Plymouth are at the bottom of the pile, losing 4 out of their last 5. Which their form. They've actually failed to win in 7, so they're in dire form right now. Peterborough moved up to 23rd, but they've always been in that relegation zone. But they were at the bottom not so long ago. Port Vale, 14 points. And Blackpool, 21st with 15 points. So that's your table for League One going into this weekend's fixtures. And as I said, it's so tight. Look at how tight it is, really. Look, from 12 up to the top, it's only 6 points. So, yes, very interesting to see what kind of happens moving forward for sure. But for now, we have to just keep kind of going with it and seeing how the season continues to shape up. But let's start the predictions. So yeah, get your predictions in down below as well. I'd love to hear your predictions as we go along this section now. And like I said, big up to you guys that are in the building right now and staying with me. So let's have a look. I'm just going to put that on just to kind of, if you want to get involved, you can. So let's start with the first match of, I'm going to switch my screen again. Lemonek. Here we are. This is the one I'm after. So we have got, start to count, there we are. Peterborough taking on Stockport County for Thursday night football tomorrow night. Early, the weekend starts early for League One once again as the Thursday night match commences. Obviously, if you look at kind of things going on at the moment, Peterborough have won back-to-back league games and they're in very good form at the moment. They've really seen an upsurge in form. Stockport have, and also they've also scored. They've gone from struggling to score goals to now scoring quite a few. Scoring 10 goals in total in the last 5 games. Peterborough, Stockport have stuttered a little bit again in the last couple of games. They've been held at home to Wigan, 1-1, and then losing 3-0 against Luton at home as well. But obviously they are still top of the league despite that. But they've kind of slipped up. They could have been clear if they would have got some points in these two. Now, if you look at their top scorers, so you've got the likes of this guy for Peterborough, Morgan, Jimmy J. Morgan, who's on loan, the youngster, scoring 3 goals. Then you've got Wootton, who, of course, we know all about him, very experienced. He's got 6 goals to his name so far this season. So yeah, for this game, get your predictions in for this game. Peterborough versus Stockport. For me, it is a tricky one to kind of predict, isn't it? But for me, I'm going to get my predictions up right now. I've gone for a draw here. I just think that Peterborough have really upsurged in form recently. I just think Stockport have slipped up a few times. I just think that, there'll be a few goals back with each, scoring a couple of goals each. But I just can't really split these sides, despite the table suggesting, obviously Peterborough down in 23rd, Stockport at the top. I think Stockport have kind of struggled a little bit, although their away form they're actually number 1 in terms of their away form. Ranked number 1 in the league for away form, Stockport. So a look. Your predictions. Thanks, guys, for getting your predictions in. Charlie's gone for a 2-2 as well. So you think it's going to be the same? as me. And Aiden's gone for a 2-1 Peterborough win. Yeah, so you're going for a home win. Which, yeah, I mean, from our perspective, we want them to drop points, but we need to do our job as well. So, but yeah, no, it would be good to see teams above us drop points again this weekend. But yeah, let's see. But big up to you. And Noah says 0-0. He also says, hi, Ryan, by the way, hope you're doing well. Big up to you, Noah. And thank you for sharing that prediction with us in the chat. Let's go on to the next game then. So we have got on Saturday lunchtime. Let me just quickly get to the next game now. We've got Exeter taking on Burton Albion, of course. Oh my word, it's hard to zoom in on these. There we are. Suppose you can see that now. So Exeter taking on Burton Albion, 20th versus 12th. So the hosts, Exeter, very much hit and miss in terms of what you're going to get, very inconsistent with their results. Burton going to this game in the full of confidence after picking back-to-back wins up. As I said, they're doing fantastic at the moment, to be honest, if you look at the form at the moment. And I just think, Burton are coming to this game, and momentum's everything in football. And they certainly have that over Exeter. Now, the top scorers for the two, Wareham and Beasley, getting 5 goals each so far this season. And Burton are scoring goals for fun at the moment as well. They've scored 12 goals in their last 5 matches. And they're actually ranked 3 away from home. They're very good away from home, according to the insights of this kind of game. Bradley Collins is ranked number 1 in saves per match. So their goalkeeper. Yeah, Bradley Collins is actually a decent keeper. He did well the previous week. Exeter very much hit and miss. So for me, let me know your predictions down below in the comment section about this game. And Aiden says it's postponed, this game. Where have you seen that, mate? Well, why is it postponed? Or is it because of that? Is it because of... Oh my word! It is. It's postponed. It's because of that. There was a fire, wasn't there, at Exeter's Stadium? Right. Well, that has messed up one of the fixtures. But look, thank you for reminding me. I don't know why I didn't tell me when I was using the FootMob website. Why didn't it say on the FootMob website that it was postponed? Right, so what a waste of time that was then saying that. But look, I thought I'll say my prediction. I don't think we should say the prediction there, but I actually went for a 2-0 win to Burton. I thought Burton were going to go and win this one, but yeah. Anyways, moving swiftly on. Kind of wasted time there. We've got Port Vale taking on Plymouth in this only lunchtime kickoff then. 21st taking on 24th, bottom of the league. Obviously, a big match at the bottom of the table, this, isn't it? With both sides desperately needing points. Port Vale's last win came on the 27th of December, so a long time. But they have obviously picked up a few draws along the way in that time after that. And they've lost a few as well. They've scored 8 goals in 5, Port Vale. Whereas Plymouth haven't won a game in 7. 1 goal scored in their last 5. So yeah, they're in dire straits right now, Plymouth, and we only know ourselves how poor they looked last weekend when we played them. They are so bad. But look, their top scorers for both sides: Devante Cole with 4 goals so far for Port Vale, and we know who this guy is: Laurent Tolage, the former Port Vale man as well. So he's coming up against his former side here. He scored 7 goals. He's a quality striker, him, Tolage. I really am a big fan of his. I think he offers so much. He's a goal scorer when he'll get, but unfortunately, he's not really getting that much service. But he's still got 7 goals this season, despite Plymouth doing so badly. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with me there. But I'm really annoyed that I didn't actually pick up on that before I went live. But look, my prediction for this game, I've actually gone for a home win here. That's what I've gone with. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Port Vale. I just think Plymouth, yes, both sides are struggling, both down there. You know what I mean? He is obviously going to be, both sides will see a big opportunity to start, getting out of that, really, start turning around their fortunes. But I don't know. I just think Plymouth I just don't think they're going to be able to get a result here. So I've gone for a 2-0 victory for Plymouth. Not for Plymouth, for Port Vale, as you can see. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Yeah, if only I use the Sky Sports page next time. I just can't believe that I can't believe they didn't update it on every website. 0-0. So yeah, you think both teams are going to cancel each other out, which I understand because they're both struggling. They both, struggle to convert. Well, I think Port Vale actually do have chances. They're just not very clinical. Plymouth are very much struggling all over the park at the moment. So I think, yeah, they're struggling to create. Vale 1-0 against Plymouth. So you've gone for Vale win as well. So thank you for those 2 predictions. Big up to you, Aidan and Charlie. Keep them coming. But let's have a look at the next match in this round of fixtures. Wimbledon taking on Wigan. Obviously, both sides. 7th Wimbledon versus 17th Wigan. The hosts have lost back-to-back games in the league to drop outside the playoffs. But I've had an amazing start to their season still after just getting promoted. Very organised and very well-drilled side. I actually put these guys to be bottom of the league. I regret that massively in my predictions. If you go back and watch my predictions of the league table, I thought these were going to go straight back down, and I apologise. They've really shown that they can do it at this level, despite a drop in form. They're still very much in the mix, and I think every Wimbledon fan, every player, the manager, they would have taken this where they are now at the start of the season. So yeah, really being really impressed with Wimbledon, to be honest, with this season, and I've been proven wrong. Wigan are the draw specialists, as you can see from this graph. 4 draws on the bounce, and all 1-1. That is crazy. So yes, that's the form guide. Last couple of games. Now the top scorers for both sides: Matty Stevens for Wimbledon. Again, I do like this guy. I think he's very, very good. You know what I mean? He's a good player to have up there. He obviously you expect players to work hard, of course, but I just think it gives you a lot in this. It gives you a lot in this side. You know what I mean? He's strong, and you know what I mean. He's very much a guy that if he gets a chance, will score. He's got 5 goals. And then Fraser Murray with 4 goals. So yeah. But look. Now, guys, I don't know if you can see the screen that well. Let me know if can you see the screen? Yeah, pretty much you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. It's just because when I'm on the small screen there, it doesn't actually look very clear. But when I open it up, anyway. So look, score predictions for this one. Look, I think both sides are kind of struggling a little bit. Wimbledon are doing well, but well overall, but not recently. Wigan like a draw. I'm actually going to go for another draw. I think Wigan are going to make it 5 draws out of 5. 1-1 draw. That's my prediction for this game. Let me have a look. Yeah. I'm going for a draw. I think they'll both cancel each other out. So look at what you guys are saying in the chat then. So that is my prediction. You think Wigan are going to win, Aiden? Big up. You think Wigan are going to win? All right, then. So we're going to get an away win. And Charlie's gone for the same score as well. So 2 Wigan wins, and I've gone for a draw. I usually go for Wimbledon to win games, but I don't know. I just think they're faltering a little bit. So, but they are good at home. Obviously, it's a difficult place to go, isn't it? Their place. But yeah, I know the draw specialists. Right, next up. We're going to go into the next game, and big up to everyone that's in. Drop a like, subscribe, and get your predictions in as well. I appreciate you all. Barnsley taking on Luton, 13th, taking on 8th. So the hosts, Barnsley, are very much inconsistent right now, losing last time out at home against Lincoln. They haven't kept a clean sheet in 15 matches. They've scored 10 goals in 5 games. So yeah, the fact that they haven't kept a clean sheet in 15 matches says all you need to know about their defence. But Luton, the visitors, have had a lot of joy away from home. Second in the standings in the league, 13 points from a maximum of 24 on the road. They've scored 11 goals in 5 games overall. They've kept the most clean sheets in the league, 8 in total. Now, if you look at their 2 key players, I think, well, I say key players, I mean the highest goal scorers. I think Caleb Dunn's definitely a key player for Barnsley, but in terms of Clark, I think, yes, he's scored a couple of goals, but I do think that there's others in that team that actually are more, they're key players, better, more than him. But yeah, Caleb Dunn got 7 goals already this year. He's a quality player, is Caleb Dunn. Very, very good, clinical, and yeah, very, very dangerous. We were actually linked to him in the summer. We were linked to him in the summer, and it was last summer. Can't remember now. Clark has got 3 goals. But yeah, for me, let me know your predictions for this one then. I'm actually going to go for an away win. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Luton Town. Like I said earlier, they've got a very strong home record of away record of Luton. Like I said earlier, second in the standings. So they love being away from home, or they do more than they do at home at the moment. Anyway, but yeah, Barnsley struggling a little bit. I haven't always concede. I just see that the same will happen here, and Luton will get a couple of goals. That's how I see it. So there we have it. Let's have a look what you guys are saying. You gone for a 2-2, Aiden. Barnsley 2, Luton 2. Interesting. Fair enough, mate. That's the fair. That would be a good game for the neutral. And Charlie's gone for a 3-1 Luton. So yeah, 2 Luton wins, 1 draw. So we're kind of mixing it up a bit, aren't we? All of us tonight. Let's have a look at the next game then. So we've got Bolton taking on Bradford. So here we are. So look, the hosts, Bolton, have an excellent home record. They're best in the league at home in terms of points accumulated. 20 points from a maximum of 24 is very, very much impressive. Overall, they've won 3 wins out of 3 in the league. 5 wins in all competitions. The visitors have struggled for goals in the last 5 games, only scoring 3 goals in 5. They haven't won a match in 6. We love to see it, and they're on the balance for 3 consecutive losses in all competitions. But obviously, this game against Cheltenham was obviously in the cup. Back-to-back losses in the league. The top scorers then, let's have a look. Mason Burster, who I'm a big fan of, very talented young man. Got a lot about him, physical presence, holds the ball up very well. Strong, as you can expect, and clinical. He knows where the back of the net is, as a striker should. And Mason is showcasing what he can do obviously he's on loan as well. 22. Where is he on? He's on loan from Hull. I'm just trying to think where he'd come from. Yeah, but yeah, it's Hull. So 7 goals for Burstow, and this guy who Bobby Poynton, 6 goals to his name. So look at what else I've got here. So yeah, what do you think this score is going to be between these two sides, Bolton Wanderers and Bradford? For me, I'm going to go for a home victory. Bolton are a really strong home, as I've already said. I can't see this changing against a side who I've really slowed up in recent weeks, and I'm trying to get my score up, but it's not letting me. I've gone for a 3-0 win for Bolton Wanderers. And yes, I'm being kind. I don't know why I'm being kind. I should have put 4. But yes, I'm being kind with this score of just 3. And yes, let's keep the demise of Bradford City going down that table to humble their deluded fans who think they're bigger than they are. Right then, let's get into what people are saying in the chat for scores. You're going for 4-0 Bolton win. Not biased, but I seriously think Bolton going to slap Bradford about. Yeah, I see the same. If you just look at the home form of Bolton and Bradford going to this on the back of back-to-back losses and not won in the last, not won, in the last couple of, not won in 6. So yeah. Charles is 3-1 to Bolton. Come on, Bolton. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not upset. They're obsessed with the way. I'm not obsessed with them, but I cannot stand how they've behaved. Their fans, once they've come up to this division and think they all, and when they've started well, it's even made them even more unbearable. It's like, well, just calm down. That we've got loads of the season left, and you're getting carried away because they were at once in the top 2, weren't they? It's like, calm down. So yes, let's keep them coming down that table, as I said. Look at the Bradford form, I know. Yeah. I was waiting for them to fall off the form. Right, let's have a look. Next game then. Leyton Orient taking on Blackpool. I actually didn't say where the 4th versus 3rd, Bolton versus Bradford. So it will be a good game, but hopefully Bradford lose badly. Right, here we are. Leyton Orient versus Blackpool. If it loads, and if it... Right, here we are. So, yes, these two sides, 16th versus 21st. Orient looking for back-to-back wins after a win last time out. The visitors lost last time out away from home against Burton and sit bottom on away form. 3 points from 24 on the road for the Seasiders. As you can see, a bit of the form there. Orient, they've scored 6 goals in their last 5 games. They've also won the previous 3 matches against Blackpool, so they've got a good record against them. And they average about 1.5 goals big match. Blackpool have just really struggled, as you can see. Lost to Burton last time out as well. They've scored 7 goals in the last 5. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this matchup between these two. And then for me, big up to everyone that's in the building. Drop a like, subscribe, and I hope you're all doing well on this Wednesday evening. I had to think about what day it was then. So for me, I'm going to get my predictions in now. So I'm going to go for a home victory. I believe Leyton Orient will win this game. I'm going 2-0 to Orient, the O's. Let's have a look at what other people are saying and get your predictions in if you haven't already done so. Appreciate that. Aidan says 2-1. Leyton Orient wins. So yes, you think they're going to win. Big up. Thank you for sharing. And Charlie thinks it's 2-0 Orient. So we've all gone for Orient wins, the people that have engaged. I actually forgot to mention that the top scorers for both sides, Aaron Connolly with 6 goals and Ashley Fletcher with 4 goals. So yeah, Connolly for Leyton Orient, obviously Fletcher for Blackpool. All right. Next up, we have got... Have we got any more? We've not got any more. Oh, yes, we have. We have got... Of course we've got more. I am not with it tonight, guys, at all. And we are going to be... I'm just not with it. We've got quite a number of games left here. Of course, our game, which I'm not going to dive into too much in this show, guys, as I never do, because we do have the preview coming out to this game on Friday night. I will be live doing live match previews again every Friday for the weekend games, of course. So yeah, do tune in on Friday night at 6:00, and we'll go through this in a bit more detail. But just a bit more kind of just a few kind of things, I guess. Just kind of both forms at the moment. Obviously, Mansfield lost last time out against Northampton away, which, yeah, 9th versus 10th as well, as we already know. So we beat Plymouth after losing our last 3 league matches. I only go for league form, even though I know that the form stretched back into the cups as well. So it was that on the, you know what I mean? So yeah. Obviously, they're the top scorers. Evans for them with 4 goals. And then you've got Taylor with 3 goals. But Taylor's really much out of form at the moment. He just doesn't look at the race at all. Our most informed strikers are the likes of Charles and Bojan. But yeah, Taylor still does have the more goals. So yeah. Now, if you look at a few kind of insights into this match, just a few kind of stats there. We've actually won the previous 3 matches against Mansfield. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into this because I want to cover it on the preview show on Friday. But yeah, so these 2 sides, obviously, we hope we can go there and get a victory. We need to win. These matches coming up are massive, and we have to get points against these sides. This is where the business end starts, in my opinion. Teams above us currently in the next couple of games, unless things change. But at the moment, as it stands, all the teams that we face in the next couple of games are above us. So, you know, including Mansfield, even though we're both level on points with them, but they're still ahead of us. So get your predictions in for this match. But for me, I'm going to share my prediction. I'm just not right. I'm going to share my prediction. I've probably gone with this score because I hope it happens, but I don't know if it will. But yeah, doesn't sound very confident, that does it? But I've actually got us to win this game. You know, I think we've got a good record against Mansfield. Yes, a lot of doubts about Lee Grant's expertise as a manager and if he can actually take us forward. But I think Mansfield obviously is struggling quite a bit as well. So, and we've got a good record against them as well. So I don't see any reason why we can't go there and win. So yeah, I think it's more of a hopeful score than actually thinking it'll happen. But we'll have to wait and see. We are obviously on the back of that win against a Plymouth side, who were very poor, but apparently that makes me negative and toxic for saying that. But anyway, I don't really care. We won the game, but we were against a very poor Plymouth side who were struggling massively. But yeah, apparently that makes me negative. So yeah. Charlie says 1-1. So you're going for a draw, Lee Grant out? Yeah, I'm not convinced about Lee Grant, mate, either. Like, because I've already said that. I don't see how I don't really have much faith in him helping us get promoted at all. Because if you look at the managers that we're coming up against, they're all better than him. They're more experienced. I'm not just talking about because everyone has to start somewhere, but I just mean like Lee Grant isn't learning. The other managers that have been in the dugout have been there before. So you've gone for a Mansfield win 1-0. Yeah. Yeah. I don't blame you. Again, I'm negative. I'm so negative. Always negative about the club, apparently. Yeah, look, and I don't, you know, it's an away game. It's a tricky game. But we simply have to win this game because otherwise we're going to get cut adrift even more than what we are. These next couple of games are make or break for me. We need to be back up there in that mix of the top 6 in the next couple of games. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season where we know what happens. But again, I just don't really have much faith in Lee Grant, as we've already alluded to. So yeah. Nigel Clough has plenty of experience, doesn't he, mate? Versus Lee Grant has no experience, yeah. And the things with Nigel Clough is he actually adapts to what needs to be done to win a game. He doesn't just stick to the same thing and just keep it the same like Lee Grant does. Grant just only knows one way and he won't change. Yes, people will tell me he's changed formation. Yeah, cool. But I'm on about the way he played, the style of play. He won't change in terms of overplaying out from the back, this possession-based obsession. You don't need to have a lot of possession in this league. It's about winning football matches. It's about adapting to situations. It's about being proactive on that touchline. It's about making the correct decisions. Yes, you're not going to get everyone right, but every decision he's making in terms of tactically, substitution stuff, I'm thinking to myself, on most occasions, what are you doing here? Starting lineups, again, playing players that shouldn't be playing, play players that are performing for you rather than playing players that you just like. Do what's best for the team, not just stick to the same thing. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Anyway, we'll get into this more on Friday night, guys. But Clough will outsmart Grant. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't even know. I don't have much faith in this manager. That's it. Look what anyone says to me. Clearly looks out of his depth. But we've got an owner who won't act on. We'll just keep him in charge for a bit longer, just to waste even more time. Because let's see where we are in a couple of games. Because if we're going to slip up, if we slip up the next couple of games, then if we lose on Saturday, the pressure's back on again. This manager, one win against a team in the that's bottom of the league isn't going to be enough. Last time out, it's not going to be enough to keep him in a job. Well, it is with this owner, but you know what I mean. Like it's not going to alleviate pressure by just winning against Plymouth, who, in all due respect, are really struggling in every department. Anyway, I've gone for a. I actually put a 1-1. No, I didn't. I put a 2-1. Right, next up. We'll get into that game on Friday more, guys. Don't worry. Northampton taking on Cardiff. So 15th plays 5th. Now, if you look at the form of these two sides at the moment, Northampton scored 5 goals in the last 5 matches. They haven't kept a clean sheet in 7, so they're very good at conceding goals as well. Cardiff, on the other hand, let's have a look. Cardiff, 6 goals in the last 5, haven't kept a clean sheet in 9. So again, Cardiff love to concede goals as well. So yes. So yeah, two sides that obviously with these two top scorers here, Hoskins for Northampton, 4 goals. Salic for Cardiff with 6. So both, Salic has got the better of these two here. But yeah, let me know your score predictions for this game then. Northampton versus Cardiff. I just think Cardiff have slipped up the last couple of games. You look at their form. They lost to Blackpool, can you believe, away. They lost to Peterborough away. And they lost to Bolton away, which, to be fair, everybody loses to Bolton away because they're so strong at home. But, yeah, their away form is dire. I actually think Northampton could get a point here. You know? I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, guys. Let me know your predictions down below, what you think this game's going to be. But that's my prediction for this game. We've got a couple of games left and then we're out of here. This stream has been a long one, but I've enjoyed it. I have enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys out there have enjoyed it as well. But yeah, any predictions for this game at all? Anybody in the chat want to let me know what you think? But yeah, look, Northampton kind of... And they've also got a few injuries as well, Cardiff, by the looks of it. Northampton won their last game as well, and that was at home. But they've won back-to-back games. But I think this was in the cup, wasn't it? But yeah, this was a league game against Mansfield. So they're coming onto this in a bit of good form. And Cardiff are coming in to it in the opposite kind of trajectory. So that's what it is. Aiden's gone for a 2-1 Northampton. Interesting, yeah. Yeah. Maybe I should have gone for a no. Anyway, I'm going to stick to a draw. But yeah, Northampton could well truly win this game. So thank you for that, Aiden. Right, next up then, we've got a couple more games and then we're out of here. Let's just go down to the next fixture, which is Reading versus Rotherham. The host, Reading, won last time out against Stevenage 1-0. Rotherham, of course, playing very well at the moment, and really impressing on this unbeaten run, and have really climbed up that table in the recent weeks. So yeah, look, Reading obviously scored 6 in the last 5. And another stat here is Reading and Rotherham have not drawn any of their last 6 matches against each other. So they don't like to draw each other. They don't like to draw against each other, guys. Yeah, so that's interesting, to be honest with you. Also, if you look at Rotherham, they've scored 10 goals in the last 5, so they're scoring a lot of goals. They were struggling for goals previously. They're scoring goals now. Reece James created the most big chances for Rotherham, 4. But they are going to be missing their striker. I don't know what the situation with the strikers are, but obviously 2 of them went out. Nombe is out. Hugill possibly might be out. And that guy that came on for them last weekend, Ayres, went off injured as well. So, but they do obviously still have some. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway, top scorers, Marriott with 5 goals for Reading, and Nombe, who, as I said, he's out anyway, has got 3 goals. So, I'm just trying to figure out something. Just bear with me. I just need to get somebody's name. Forgotten the guy that was up front with. Yeah, Sharif. They could probably play him. I know he went off. I don't think it was injury related. Maybe it was, but I don't think it was. Oh my word. So yeah, let me know your score predictions for this game then. Reading versus Rotherham. For me, I'm going to go for an away victory. I think Rotherham will continue their good form and they'll win this game by 1 goal to 0. I don't think they'll score many, but they'll get a goal and Reading won't have any answers for that. I think Rotherham are very good at sitting in that low block. I don't think Reading will be able to break that down. And I think then they'll utilise that counter-attack like they do. And I think it will be an effective way of playing, because that's the best way that suits them more. So that's why they play like that. But yeah, that's what I think. Ian says Liam Richardson Derby, Reading 2, Rotherham 0. I see you think Reading are going to win. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, fair enough. So we have to disagree on this one, Aidan, but you know what I mean. It's all good. Right, next up then. I think this is the penultimate match now. Coming up. Right, Stevenage taking on Doncaster. 6th taking on 19th in Doncaster. Let's have a look then. So the hosts lost last time out away. They've slowed up in recent weeks. And yeah, they've kind of dropped down the table a little bit. Doncaster very much hit and miss. Win one week, lose the next. Win one week, lose. Very inconsistent. And that's why they've gone so far down now to 19th. Stevenage have scored 6 goals in their last 5 matches. They haven't scored in their last 2. Haven't kept a clean sheet in 6 either. So yeah, they're struggling all round. Doncaster, they've scored 8 goals in 5. Haven't kept a clean sheet in 7. And Luke Molyneux has created the most chances expected for Doncaster, 5. For me, look at the top scorers as well, just before we move on. Reid, 5 goals, and Bailey with 5 goals as well. So both on the same amount of goals. Let me know your prediction down below. But for me, this is the game. I always have to keep reminding myself to do this. Sorry, guys, just bear with me. Right, we're back. So, yes, you can see. Let me know your scores. But for me, I'm going to go for a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1 here. I think I can't really split the two sides. I think Doncaster obviously being a bit out of sorts. I think Stevenage have slowed up a little bit. And yeah, I just see them both cancelling each other out. Very hard to kind of split the two because they're both very inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. Yeah, that's my prediction. Let me know your predictions for the penultimate match before we head off to the final game of the weekend. We could potentially come back to that. Right. The final game, all the way down at the bottom. Wycombe Wanderers taking on Lincoln City. Wycombe are in 14th at the moment. And as I said, Lincoln are joint top. So yeah, obviously Wycombe have scored 10 goals in the last 5 games. They've won the previous 2 matches against Lincoln as well, so they've got good form against Lincoln. Alex Rowley has the most shots per match for Wycombe as well. Lincoln, a few stats for them. They've scored 5 goals in their last 5. Derikwa has created the most big chances for them, 3. And Ivan Varfolomith has the most shots on target per match for Lincoln. Now, if you look at their goal scorers, Onyedimna, 5 goals, and Collins for Lincoln with 4. Interesting battles going to be out on that pitch. See this guy coming down here, Grimmer, very good fullback. Onyedimna going to be coming down here and trying to get past Reach. And yeah, Woodrow full of experience as well. And Collins, to be fair, Collins is full of experience. So yeah, they've got. It's going to be an intriguing game, this one, I think. If you look at their form, Wickham dropped points against Port Vale last time out. Lincoln won 2-1 against Doncaster. They've won back-to-back games as well. So they're coming to this in very good form. They're going to come to this in more momentum, should I say. But I don't know. Something's telling me that this is going to be another draw. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I think they'll both cancel each other out. And I think that they will... I just think it will be... They'll share the points. There we have it. Let's have a look, see what people are saying in the chats. Aiden thinks 2-2 to Wickham. 2-2, 2-2 between 2-2 between Wickham and Lincoln. What did you say about the Doncaster game, mate? What did you think about the Doncaster game against Stevenage, Doncaster? Let me know. But we are going to wrap up now anyway. Let me just hope you... below. Hopefully you enjoyed the show, guys. Obviously, we did have the match recap. Apologies if it has been a bit stop-start whilst I kind of get used to sharing the screen and everything and doing all those. But hopefully you enjoyed the show. Obviously, we've been on for over an hour and a half. I appreciate everybody that stuck by me for the hour and a half as well. Big up to you, Aiden, and everybody else out there, Charlie as well, who was engaging in the chat as well. And Noah, I forgot you, Noah. But yeah, look, that is my recap and predictions for the upcoming games. Thanks to you guys for tuning in and contributing in the chat. Big up to you all. Drop a like if you can. It is free. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and comment your predictions in the comment section if you're watching it on playback. And if you've been watching it live, you can, if you want to, you can kind of post all your full fixtures, your predictions for the fixtures in the comment section, even if you haven't been tuning in live. And then we can just see, everybody can engage. I can engage with it and see what you've, in a kind of, I know it's a lot of teams to be doing, but yeah, if you want to do that, you can. Stevenage 2-0. So you think Stevenage are going to win? All right. Thanks. Big up to you. But look, hoping to get a video out tomorrow. Not going to say what topic it is at the moment. I was wondering if I could maybe do the press conference, but I just thought, you know what, because I know not the press. We don't do press conferences around these ways. It's match preview videos, which I could take a few quotes and do a video about that, or I was going to do something else that I'd originally planned, so I might do it anyway. There will be a video out tomorrow, hopefully. And on Friday, I'll be back at 6 o'clock for the live match preview for our game versus Mansfield, of course. So do tune in for that. We'll go into more depth about that game. I don't like going into the predictions. I don't like going into the game as much when I do these predictions for all the league, because I always do my previews. So I don't want to kind of say what I'm going to say in that as well as this one. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying anyway. I don't know why I'm still sharing the screen here, but yes, I'm just not used to this. So let's just get me here. There we are. What is it? Noah says, sorry, I had to go. I think we'll win versus Mansfield 2-1. Yeah, big up to you. No worries, no problem. But yeah, look, we're out of here now. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your support. Drop a like, subscribe, and share, and comment your predictions if you're watching it on playback. Big up to you all. See you all very, very soon. Make sure you're here tomorrow for another video, and then I'll be back live on Friday night for the preview show for our game this weekend. So hopefully you can tune in then as well. But until next time, take care, and I really, really hope you did enjoy the newer format of this prediction show. Have a good rest of the evening, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Good night.